Hello everybody, my name is Paul Ainsworth, talking to you from a beautiful rock right here in Cornwall at the Mariners Public House. I'm going to cook for you today a beautiful fish and chips that we do right here at the Mariners with the Mariners condiments. And I want to pair it, for me, with the most beautiful champagne, and that's the Ruinart Blanc de Blanc by Moet Hennessy. A lovely story of how I learnt that champagne goes well with fish and chips, and I'll tell you a bit more about that later. What have I been doing during lockdown? We've been looking after the communities right here in Padstow and Rock. They've been so good to me over the years, and in times like this, we've got to look after our own. This is for the GQ Food and Drink Awards, which the Mariners has been nominated, and the first part of this recipe is the mushy peas. All good fish and chips need a cracking mushy peas, and so let's get cooking. Now this is a bit different. We're not using the tins or the split green peas. We're going to use fresh garden frozen peas, whatever you've got in your freezer. We've got some lovely onions, which we're going to get on now. We're going to use oil and butter. Now the reason you use oil and butter is so that the butter doesn't burn, because the oil goes to a hotter temperature. Now we want to cook our onions with not much colour, and that's what sweating them down means. So cooking without colour. So here we go. Let's get the butter in the pan. So probably using there about 80 to 100 grams of butter. Right, in with our onions. And just coat those in that lovely butter. The natural juices will come out the onions. They'll start to slowly caramelise, but we don't want any colour on them. Pinch of salt, really important with cooking. Season the whole way. So we're bringing out flavour right from the beginning. I'm going to add a little bit of our thyme, because I'm going to have some thyme and rosemary in our chicken stock as well. Give that a little bash in there, release those lovely oils from the herbs. Probably one of the most amazing smells on the planet is soft onions cooking down with like rosemary and thyme. Next, some garlic. We're just going to take a clove of garlic, crushed, straight in. So now you've got garlic, thyme, rosemary, beautiful soft onions. We've got another pan. We're just going to add our chicken stock. Not beer, chicken stock. My onions are beautiful and soft there like that. That lovely thyme, that lovely garlic, all doing its job. I'm going to swap over, turn up my heat, and now add the rest of my garlic, rosemary and thyme. And what I want to do is let that infuse into the stock. I've also got a little bit of mint in there. So get that straight in, and can you imagine you've just got that flavour building up. This bit is really important. Why are we boiling the stock? Why can't we just add it in cold? The reason being is that if you add it in cold, by the time it's got up to the boil, those peas are going to go brown. And for me, mushy peas, we're using nice fresh peas here. Let's make it vibrant and green and full of flavour. So my stock is boiling. I've just passed off the thyme and the rosemary and the garlic, so we've just got our nice clear stock, nice and hot. And this is how simple this is. Peas in with those lovely soft onions. They don't need to go back on the heat, they've done their job. We're just going to fold through that lovely onion mixture. The peas are now starting to soften. You've still got the garlic and the rosemary and the thyme in there. It doesn't matter. You know, especially right now, as these are nice soft herbs. The thyme's quite soft, the rosemary's soft, the garlic, we're going to blitz it all in there. In with your stock. Now at this stage, have a look, and I've kind of just covered the peas. You can always add more. The stock has come back up to the boil. We've got the peas in there, we've got our garlic, we've got our thyme, rosemary, all doing its job. Leave it in there. It's this stage that's super, super important. Always taste your food every step of the way, right from the beginning. Have a taste out. It's delicious, it's sweet, it's got that meaty flavour from the chicken stock, it's light, but most importantly, it's got good seasoning. Add in a good couple of turns, some black pepper. Give it another stir. Transfer to the blender. Now this recipe, if you've got a blender like mine, you'll get it all in as a oneer. Put a cloth over, just in case. Look how beautiful and green that is. I want to blend it for about 45 seconds, okay? Amazing. So we're going to take some of that pea puree, pour it into the pan, and we're going to get some more fresh peas. We've done nothing to them, they're just frozen. I'm going to add them in, and that's going to give us that wonderful texture. I'm going to add a little bit more butter, so it's got a nice little richness to it. I want to just add a touch more seasoning, a couple of twists of pepper, and I've got some more mint and parsley. Waste nothing. You just want to run the knife through once. Absolutely critical. Some good malt vinegar, just to cut some of that sweetness. And honestly, trust me, game changer. You'll thank me for this one. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And that is a proper tasty fresh pea puree. It's not bland because you've put a little bit of work in there. You've got the shallot, the garlic, the thyme, the rosemary, all of those peas, and it actually tastes of something. It's not that kind of pale green, slightly bland kind of mushy peas that we've become accustomed to. It's fresh and it's lovely. That is the one. Mushy peas done. Onto our curry sauce and our tartar sauce. Pan on, and I've got this on quite a high heat. We now want colour. We want to really roast those onions to get a really nice flavoursome curry sauce. Bit of oil in, and we're going to add a little bit of butter. Onions. Just cover the onions in the butter. Some salt right at the beginning to our onions. Really bring out that flavour. We're really caramelising the onions, caramelising the sugars in the onions, and that's what gives us our flavour. We've got some chopped in tomatoes, some coconut milk, some curry paste. Now we make this curry paste here at the Mariners, and the recipe for this will be on the GQ website, so you can make this if you want, but it's a lot of ingredients, but it's worth it, it's delicious. White wine vinegar for some nice acidity, a little bit of sugar, and some curry powder. I'm going to add my curry powder in now. My onions are proper caramelising. How gorgeous those onions are. Look at the colour of those. Now I'm going to move over to our tartar sauce. Get your mayonnaise. Now I'm going to take a shallot. The shallot just gives it a lovely, lovely mild onion flavour. Cut it in half. Okay. Cut through. Slice the other way. And now just nice and fine. So you've got a lovely, lovely fine dice. Together in the mayonnaise, they are absolutely delicious. They give that richness to the fish and chips, that wonderful acidity, just like our gorgeous Ruinart champagne. Now we're going to go in with our curry paste. Smells incredible. So you want to do that for about 1-2 minutes, cooking out that curry paste. Now add white wine vinegar. Probably about 2 tablespoons. The sugar. Wonderful smell. You're just adding that lovely acidity and just constantly keeping that nice acidity remaining throughout the dish, because obviously the richness of the batter and the chips, we want something to cut it constantly. Cook for about another minute. That's about our thickness, so we've got a nice thick kind of onion compote. Now add the tomatoes. Smells incredible. Now I'm going to go back to my tartar sauce. Mayonnaise and shallot. That's gone in. Next, gherkin. If you can only get the small cornichons, doesn't matter. Chunkier, the better. Now I love these. If you are not so keen on these, add a little bit, because trust me, they are delicious. I like a tartar sauce proper chunky. Some capers. Some Dijon mustard. Now let's just stir those ingredients together. And look how simple it is to make this. And I really recommend making your tartar sauce the day before. But what will happen is those wonderful flavours will just really infuse. Right, just quickly coming back to our curry sauce. We're going to give that a nice little stir. That's what you're looking for. You can just see already that it's rich, it's a beautiful colour. Now I'm just going to add a tin of coconut milk. And that just gives it a lovely richness, a lovely creaminess. And for me, that proper chip shop curry sauce. Been cooking there for about 10 minutes, so you can see it's lovely and thick. And it's going to get even thicker when we blitz it in our liquidizer. If it needs a bit more seasoning, do it now. Oh my goodness. God, that's got a nice kick to it as well. Nice and carefully, because obviously this is really hot. Again, we'll get this all in the jug and just slowly blitz. While that's blitzing away, 2 more ingredients to add to our lovely tartar sauce. Now I'm going to add some lovely chopped parsley, cutting it nice and fine through once. A little bit of lemon zest and juice, so it's nice and fragrant. And again, it's got that lovely little acidity. Squeeze of juice. I'm just going to put a couple of turns, some lovely fresh cracked pepper. Beautiful. Mustard, lemon, delicious. And that's it, you're done. Ready to serve. Curry sauce, I'm just going to turn it up a bit. Give that one final blitz. Done. Back into your pan. It's got the richness of the tomatoes, that lovely curry paste. You've got those beautiful caramelised roasted onions. It's delicious. But again, like the tartar sauce, it's got that lovely gentle acidity, which is going to go beautiful with that rich fish and chips. Right, chips. It's all about the potato. If you haven't got the right potatoes, you'll never ever get proper nice, crispy, fluffy, delicious chips. These Maris Pipers, they have a real low sugar content, and that's the important part. If they colour really quickly in the fry, it's because they've got a high sugar content, and it's the sugar that's basically caramelising. Now I like the chips nice and chunky. Top and tail them, and just cut the sides off. But the reason you do it is because we're creating edges, and the more edges we've got, the crispier they're going to become, and they're just going to be lovely and gnarly. Love that word. For a potato that size, I'm going to cut it into 3. Now I'm going to cut that into 3. Your fryer, whatever the settings is, you want it at its lowest. So this one is at 110. So we're going to drop them in the oil at 110. If your fryer starts at 120, not a problem. We're going to put them into oil. They're at a very low temperature, and we're going to cook them until a knife literally goes through these chips like butter. So we're going to drop our chips into the oil, and it's not going to colour. They are just going to cook, and you just lift them up every so often, give them a little shake, and cook them until they're so soft. Once the chips are really, really lovely and soft, take them out and put them on a rack. That's the second cooking process because they're cooling down. So remember, they're going to continue to cook. Now onto the fish. The recipe is super, super simple. Self-raising flour, a good pinch of fine salt, and sparkling water or soda water. So you want like a sparkling water that's really, really fizzy, one that actually makes you go a bit when you drink it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of sparkling water and then start to whisk it round. Literally make your batter just like I am now when you're about to fry your fish and chips. Don't make it beforehand. It's not like Yorkshire puddings. Don't make it the night before. You want it as fizzy as possible because that's what's going to make it really light, almost like tempura. Get all of that flour in right at the bottom of the bowl so you can start to see it forming together. And actually, because of the sparkling water, it looks like a really active kind of bread dough because it's really alive. Just keep whisking it, bringing it together. You want it to coat the fish, but you don't want it too thick because you want it to be light and you want it to go super crispy. Now what I'm about to show you next is optional, but it really works and it's an amazing little tip. A little bit, probably half a teaspoon to start off with, of turmeric. Turmeric is one of my favourite spices. It does two things. It adds a little warmth, but also what it does, it gives the batter a lovely golden colour. We are almost there. You see like that? You can see it's a lovely consistency. It's light single cream. That is lovely. That's going to coat the fish beautifully. Now when you taste it, you think, oh, you can really get the salt there. You're meant to. We don't want that batter to be bland. The batter's not just there to look good. It's got to taste of something. Now fish. I'm using haddock. I love haddock. So with your haddock fillets, like what I've got here, the flour is seasoned. I've just seasoned it with some salt and pepper. Just straight in, just to coat the fish. Turn it around a couple of times. Make sure it's proper coated, like that. Okay, and into your batter. Go over to your chips, okay, which have been resting on your rack, and put them back in the fryer. So my fryer goes up to 180. I'm going to start my chips first because you want these chips to be so crispy, fluffy, and they'll almost be slightly hollow. They're going to take a lot longer than what the fish is. So we're going to start off with putting our chips down, and you can see our oil's at a nice temperature. That's going to come up nice and fast. When they're kind of getting nice and golden, I'm going to add the fish. So our chips have been cooking for 3 minutes. We're so close. Now we're going to add our fish. Now, with the tail, dunk the fish right in the batter. Get your fingers right in there. You want excess on your fingers because you know what? That's how you're going to create scraps. Just dunk it in like that until it's completely coated in the batter, just into the fryer, and then drop it in. Then with your fingers back into the batter, this is the fun bit, and go in there like that. All different shapes and sizes, because that's your scraps. That is what it's about. Look at that. Crunchy, golden chips. That batter's beautiful and golden. Get your condiments. Your curry sauce, you just want it warm, so you can taste all those wonderful flavours in there. Don't get it too hot. Now your mushy peas. Look how thick and beautiful and green they are. Got those lovely fresh herbs in there, the parsley and the mint. Some tartar sauce. Proper chunky and funky. Oh my goodness. We're going to lift out our fish. I mean, that's the sound you want to be hearing. And look at it, all those little gnarly bits, again, with that beautiful scraps that we put in at the end. Season it straight away so that seasoning gets on there. And the same with your chips. You want your scraps and everything to come out. Salt, season quickly, straight away. Hear that sound, that's what you want to be hearing. And they'll stay nice and crispy because of that cooking technique. Put your condiments on. Oh my goodness me. I mean, look at that. Now with those scraps, put them on top of the batter, like that, straight in the middle. Look at this. And there you have it. The Mariner's fish and chips with the condiments, the curry sauce, the tartar sauce, and the mushy peas. And the perfect match for me with champagne is a Ruinart. It's 100% Chardonnay. It's Blanc de Blanc, so it's really refined, buttery, slightly brioche flavours. And you know why it's the perfect match? And it's a little story. When I was working for Gordon Ramsay at Royal Hospital Road, I was 20 years old and I met, one of the world's greatest sommeliers, Ronan Sabin, and I always remember him telling me that fish and chips on its own can sometimes be, a bit bland, and the perfect accompaniment with it is that champagne. And that's why we put these delicious condiments with it, because we want that constant acidity rather than just the chips and the fish. And that's exactly what this champagne does. Listen. Look at that fish. Cooked, translucent, super moist. Look at the batter, how thin it is around the outside. That's because you got the perfect consistency. You just have a little bite out. Proper crunchy. Dip in of the curry sauce. A sip of the Ruinart champagne. Not bad view. I don't think it gets any better, does it? Hope you enjoy, guys. Give it a try at home. It's a proper special treat. Thank you for watching.